I'm really delighted to be back this year, reconnecting with some familiar faces and meeting new ones. And whether you're here with us in person or online, I know that we are all driven by a shared purpose, which is to support the charitable sector. As Director General in the Charities Directorate at the Canada Revenue Agency, I value every opportunity that I have to connect with the sector. Our conversations are vital for bridging gaps, hearing diverse perspectives, and strengthening the sector, especially in times of economic uncertainty. Every interaction informs the work we do, and I am grateful for this opportunity tonight. Last year, I mentioned that being part of this event was particularly meaningful for me in a personal way. My family and I have been privileged to be part of the Ukrainian dance community in Ottawa, and we get to participate in lots of Ukrainian community events. So I've been helping with a seniors dance class on Saturdays, which is a lot of fun to hear all of their stories. And we played bingo. We went to a Ukrainian bingo lately, so that was quite fun. So we've been able to experience the warmth, strength, and resilience of the community. And when the war broke out in Ukraine, we shared the heartbreak that was felt by so many. And we're very inspired by all the work that we've seen and the determination that's been shown to address the humanitarian crisis. So I've been the Director General since May of 2022, and half of my public service career has been dedicated to the charitable sector. We're essentially the de facto regulator of the charitable sector in Canada, and our regulatory responsibilities stem from the requirements of the Income Tax Act. Our mission is to contribute to the integrity of the charitable sector and the social well-being of Canadians by registering charities and other qualified donees, promoting compliance through education and responsible enforcement, and providing the public with reliable information to foster transparency and trust. Last year, I spoke about our 5 core foundations of learning, excellence, strength, engagement, and care. These principles guide the work we do and reflect the dedication of the passionate public servants in the Charities Directorate. We provide a range of resources from webinars to written inquiries and a call center, and we employ compliance interventions tailored to specific needs, from educational campaigns to full-scale audits. Learning is really at the heart of everything that we do, and as a regulator, we're committed to education and collaboration, providing the resources and guidance required for charities to meet their obligations. Through engagements like this one, we strive to foster a regulatory environment where organizations not only fulfill their responsibilities, but also feel supported in their work. We want to reduce any perceived apprehension about the CRA because, not everybody loves the tax authority. And we want to reinforce that our role really is to guide, collaborate, and help the charitable sector succeed in delivering impactful programs. At a time when I think I'm a little bit ahead on my slides. At a time when the sector faces unprecedented hurdles due to economic challenges, difficulties with volunteer retention, and a growing concern for knowledge gaps as organizations struggle to replace long-standing board members and staff, the work you do is ever more essential. Charities really are the cornerstone of our economy, contributing to over 8% of our GDP, employing over 2 million Canadians. Your efforts to strengthen communities, create stability, and build social bonds are important. We hear from the sector how organizations are reimagining their operations, diversifying their funding sources. And in fact, we heard about that earlier this evening. Leveraging technology, we heard about that as well, and streamlining efficiencies to maximize social impact. So the CRA is here to support you in meeting your responsibilities while safeguarding the sector's integrity. We're going to be navigating a period of political transition with an election just a few days away. And change can feel a bit daunting, but it also brings opportunities to improve how we operate. And I'm confident that together we'll be able to navigate this landscape and work towards a stronger, more resilient charitable sector. So with that in mind, I'd like to provide you with some updates from the Charities Directorate and talk about some of the things we've been working on since last spring. So over the past year, we've hosted several webinars on key topics to support registered charities, including managing books and records, maintaining charitable registration, understanding public policy dialogue and development activities, and complying with new rules for granting to non-qualified donees. These sessions have received very positive feedback from the participants, and they really are designed to help charities carry out their work effectively. The questions that we receive during the webinars are really insightful, and they help us to better identify what the knowledge gaps are in the sector, because the volunteers and staff on the ground doing the day-to-day work, they're asking the questions because they can't find the answers in our products. So this is how we strengthen and improve the educational resources we have to support the sector. All of our webinars are available on our website, and for future webinars, the registration is free, so I encourage you all. I'll give you access to our mailing list a bit later to sign up for these opportunities. We also updated last summer our compliance with the charitable sector webpage, and so we have much clearer information now on compliance requirements under the Income Tax Act, and we also provide an explanation of our compliance approach and revised statistics on our compliance activities, trying to demystify what it means to undergo an audit by the CRA. This fall, we published updated guidance on the relief of poverty and charitable registration to provide details and examples on how registered charities can provide affordable housing. We know charities want to do more in this space and have been limited with how the guidance was drafted in the past. So the new guidance has updated terminology and information on new rules for making grants to non-qualified donees. And I'm seeing a lot of religious organizations who are trying to enter this space of affordable housing, particularly in urban centers. As part of our ongoing efforts to support giving beyond Canada's borders, I want to highlight that foreign universities can be registered as qualified donees under the Income Tax Act. This enables registered universities outside of Canada to issue official donation receipts for income tax purposes and receive gifts from registered charities, which really fosters international collaboration in education. Recently, two foreign universities in the Ukraine, the National University of Kiev Mohyla Academy and the Ukrainian Catholic University were added to the list. And this really helps sustain academic opportunities for Ukrainian students and institutions amid the ongoing challenges. Over the past year, the Directorate has made a dedicated effort to engage with frontline stakeholders and external committees, sharing information, strengthening relationships, and gathering valuable insight that shape our policies and new initiatives. the former Minister of National Revenue, Madame Marie-Claude Bibeau. She was very committed to meeting with the charitable sector, meeting with grassroots charities, and I always got to go along with her. And I feel that it was the biggest gift that she really gave me. It was the opportunity to travel to different parts of the country and meet charities on the ground and hear about their experiences. And a charity in Halifax doesn't have the same experience as a charity in Montreal, as a charity in Vancouver. So that was a really beautiful opportunity that I have, and all of those conversations inform the work we do in the Charities Directorate. We also collaborated extensively with the Advisory Committee on the Charitable Sector. They published their fourth report, which includes recommendations for the Minister of National Revenue on regulatory modernization and emerging sector challenges. Um, we did do an open call for applications last fall, and after the election period, hopefully we'll be able to go out with those appointments. But that is something that, anybody with an interest in the charitable sector can apply to be a part of in the future. We also have something called the Technical Issues Working Group, and this is a team of sector professionals who advise the CRA on regulatory and policy matters affecting registered charities. So if that's something you're interested in, certainly let me know. So we will continue to listen to diverse perspectives and ensure that the approach we take as a regulator really reflects the realities on the ground. I'll also let you know that we published a report on the charities program last month. It's available on our website, and it provides a comprehensive look at our regulatory activities, highlights key developments and key statistics in registration, compliance, policy initiatives, engagement efforts, client service, and sector education. There's details on our outreach activities and our contributions to both domestic and international commitments. So, in the digital space, I'm excited to share that we are on track to launch a new service that will enable registered charities to file their annual information return through third-party tax filing vendors later this spring. So this should significantly increase the number of charities that file their information returns online. Currently, 20% of the sector is filing their information return online, but about half of the sector is using third-party software, so like a TurboTax type software, and they fill out their annual return, they hit print, they put the paper in an envelope and then send it to us via Canada Post, and then we rekey in all the information. It is very inefficient, it is very expensive, and we really want to go 100% e-filing. And it was actually at this event last year where I met someone who described to me in precise detail how he would use the software and print the return and then put it in an envelope and mail it to us. So we really hope that, we'll be able to reduce this administrative burden. Your information, once it's filed, will be available to the public the next day. Data quality should improve because you minimize the risk of keying errors, and I think the public will be happier because they'll see the information right away. So we're updating our webinars and our guidance on this new filing option right now, and you should see some information in the coming week. So we're excited, and we're excited to move into the next technological phase of a program that was very much paper-based for most of its history. So, in terms of compliance, this remains a significant focus at the CRA. There is a small percentage of charities in the sector that misuse their tax benefits, and this really hurts all the charities that make up the sector. We try to take a risk-based approach and save our full scope audits to the riskiest of situations and use educational letters and nudge campaigns to correct common errors. Our top compliance priorities include aggressive tax planning, offshore activities, and the involvement of ineligible individuals. And, you know, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. So we're really seeing this as a shared responsibility between ourselves and the charitable sector. Australia was approached, the charitable sector in Australia was approached by tax shelter promoters, and the sector said, no, thank you. They pushed back, and this scheme never took hold in that country like it did in our country. So we can't do it all. We also rely on charities to help us out. So I think, before I close, and then I know there were a couple of questions that I need to get to. I do want to encourage those who wish to stay informed to subscribe to our electronic mailing list. You'll get updates on upcoming events, including webinars, new and updated web pages, guidance products, regulatory and legislative changes, and any other key developments. And I'm told if you point your phone camera to that QR code on the screen, it'll bring you to our web page where you can subscribe to our mailing list. So hopefully that will be easy. And certainly during the question period, I would welcome your thoughts, and I can try to answer your questions, and I will be able to stay around after the event as well if you have more questions. But there was a question on tax receipts for in-kind donations. So you have to be very careful here. You can't actually provide a tax receipt for a service. It needs to be a thing. So sometimes an individual will provide a charity with a service. The charity will pay for the service. The individual who provided the service will make a donation to the charity, and then the charity will receipt the donation. That's a way to address that issue. If it is if it is a thing, a tangible thing, you're going to want to keep very good records, and you want to receipt for the fair market value. And if you are accepting a good that is sizable in terms of its value, you might want a professional evaluation done so you properly establish the fair market value. When it comes to sponsorships, this is again kind of a bit dodgy and a bit of a challenging area, because if an organization is making a donation to a charity and is expecting to have their logo broadcast at one of your events, that could be seen as an advantage. And if you're receiving a sizable advantage as a result of a donation, you may not be able to receipt that donation, but it's always going to depend on the very particular facts and circumstances of that donation and that particular sponsorship arrangement. But it's a bit, I can see why he transferred the question over to me. All right. Are there any questions?
Um, Thank you so much. When, as a charity, we often do apply for grants or funding from other organizations, and on occasion, other foundations who have charitable status and have provided a grant request a tax receipt. It's my understanding, though, that as a charity, we do not issue tax receipts to other charitable organizations. So, is there ever an instance where a tax receipt is appropriate to another charity?
They're probably just doing that for like their own record keeping purposes.
Is it incorrect to issue them a tax receipt?
It's not really a tax receipt for a donation. It's really you're receiving a gift from another
Exactly, but
qualified donee.
sometimes they specifically ask for a tax receipt, and I'm always stymied by that because my experience is that one charity does not issue a tax receipt to another charity.
Yeah,
You can issue a letter of like we've received your gift or a receipt that this money has been received, but it's not a tax receipt.
I'm gonna take a note of that and
Okay,
see if we have actually put any guidance on that topic on our website, because we may not have covered it.
great, thanks.
I'm involved with a tier one well-known organization, and they're doing a public fundraising event. And there's asking for corporate sponsorship more for signage on a highway of where they could predetermine how many cars go by, things like that. Who gets to actually put the value of what that donation should be? Is it the charity who's hosting the event, or do we have to come back to you folks to give us a evaluation of what the true value of that signage or that company might want to put out?
So we do have some information on sponsorships on our website, and it's always going to depend on the particular circumstances of the charity, of the fundraising event. Is one donor getting more recognition? Are they getting a bigger footprint than the other donors?
The recognition is based on platinum, gold, bronze, and lumber, right? So signage is based on location, and signage is based on the donation that is given from that organization to support the event.
So you'd have to figure out whether the advantage really outweighed your ability to issue a receipt. Is it a true donation? Maybe not.